I heard recently that it's a bad idea to bring pepper spray into the woods because grizzly bears are attracted to pepper spray. But I don't think the grizzly bears are attracted to being sprayed in the face with mace.
They have bear pepper spray.
But supposedly grizzly bears are attracted to normal people mace.
Oh, well, you gotta get like bear pepper spray. It shoots like extra far and will fucking torch them in the face with this huge thing.
Well, even if they are attracted to it.
Just don't spray it upwind because then you're fucked.
Oh, man.
You're so fucked because you're not just in the face with mace. You got grizzly bear mace. Like a cannon's worth of it.
Shit.
All over you.
God, I don't even want to think about that.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Have you ever been had an experience with mace?
No.
I was at a party and it was like all kind of like one room, kind of like a studio type space, and the kitchen kind of went into the living room. And this girl in the kitchen, like behind the little island, had a thing of mace on her keychain, and somehow that got triggered and mace like the whole kitchen.
How did it get triggered?
Well, I think she might have done it just kind of like not really thinking about it.
Because she felt a little bit of mace.
She felt so... she felt so bad. Like, everyone got over it. Like, we were all like, and you could kind of like feel it in your chest and kind of cough a little bit. But, we were like, all right. And we all got over it. But it totally ruined her night. She was the one that maced everyone, and she was like the most emotionally affected by it. Just feeling like such an outcast, and just everyone hates me. They sprayed her in the mace. Like, no, we don't fucking care. We're all drinking. We're all hanging out, having a good time.
Young girls on a night out are comparable to someone on mushrooms. They do like one little thing, and they're immediately like, "Oh my god, everything's ruined. Everybody hates me. Bad trip. I'm spiraling into darkness." Have you ever had to? I was at a wedding recently, and I had to help a crying girl with a broken shoe, broken stiletto heel.
You had to. Did you want to swoop in like Prince Charming?
No. I did not want to help. Her boyfriend approached me. Actually, not her boyfriend. The guy that she was there with, of course. Because if her boyfriend was there, she probably would have been having a better time. But she had no man there with her. She brought a friend that obviously wasn't into her, and he came over and said, "Hey, man, I know I don't know you, but can you help me carry this girl to the car?" And I looked over and saw this red-faced, girl with a broken heel.
Do it by himself. What a dick.
She just had a broken heel. That was it. Her shoe broke. That was the only thing that was wrong. And I had to carry her to the car while she cried. Hi, you're listening to People Are Strange, a podcast starring me, Andy,
and me, JK. Please be advised, this show contains strong language and explicit descriptions of adult situations.
People Are Strange is not intended to promote the use of drugs or a life in the arts.
If you do decide to experiment, please do so from an informed and responsible place.
Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Because after all, people are strange.
I read an article today about a little girl who had a disease. She lived in an underdeveloped country, and she had a disease that made her giggle chronically. So, like, this little girl is running around, and she's got this condition that makes her go, like,
That's like an evil
Sure,
laugh.
Well, let's assume that's what it sounds like.
That's like an evil, like, chest.
Well, can you do a cute giggle then? I can't do a cute giggle. Alright, that's what she does. She titters, yeah.
No, I like her more as a like watching people trip and fall in the mud. Like
so she's got shit. Well, here's why that's what I thought of. The doctors diagnosed her not with the condition that she actually had, but with mischievousness.
What?
Yeah. They just said
diagnosed her with mischievousness?
They just poo-pooed and said, "Oh, she's just a mischievous little girl, and that's why she's giggling." Meanwhile, she has a brain tumor. So they finally discovered it and treated the brain tumor. But I'd like you to imagine this. Imagine, like, now, at this age, you have a disease which makes you not just giggle chronically, but laugh very sinisterly. Chronically. So you're trying to tell people that you're in trouble, and you're going, "Hey, man, something's wrong with me." And they're like, "What the fuck, dude? What are you doing?" "No, I really need help." "Something is seriously wrong."
Alright, yes, something is wrong. You're a bit of a prankster, aren't you?
You don't understand. It would be horrible. No one would help you. And you'd go to the hospital, the emergency room, and you'd be like, "Help." yeah. You'd be like, get the fuck out of here. And further on, what if you had a disease that made you say everything really sarcastically? So you were like, hey man,
I really need a lot of help here.
I'm really sick.
Like, you need to call a doctor, obviously. Right now.
So what's wrong? You got like a little cold or something? No, seriously.
I'm fucking dying.
Right How would you get help? Bro, what would you do?
Go drive yourself there.
What would be your solution?
You'd be in a lot of trouble, man. You would have to, like, take matter. Well, yeah, you'd have to. I mean, in the case of no one believing you because you're sarcastic, you'd have to get there and just have.
Well, I thought of a solution
with a doctor who knows you like beforehand.
Yeah, that's true. You could go for that. But let's say your doctor is vacationing in like Barbados, and you're fucked. You know,
you're totally.
And so you could write it down, right? You could write down like, "Help, I'm sick," and you could pretend to be mute, but then they wouldn't actually know what was wrong with you. And if you wrote it down on a piece of paper, like paper, if you wrote it down on a piece of paper, if you were like, "Help, everything I say comes out really sarcastic," everyone would just be like, get the fuck out of here, you know? Like, that would be the equivalent of being like, you know, I saw a ghost!
Yeah.
Help, everything's really sarcastic!
People are having trouble understanding me, it's a real problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like, legitimately, I'm having strokes, and people, they're just like, oh, sure.
That becomes an epidemic. Everyone's gonna die, because no one will get help.
No, but that disease also kind of reminds me of like ADD and the fact that when they misdiagnosed the girl with mischievousness and she had an actual legitimate thing, like ADD wasn't in like the DSM-4, like wasn't a recognized thing until like the 80s or something like that when the first kid was diagnosed with it, and then they started just diagnosing everyone with it. Mm-hmm. But then like the one doctor came out recently and said like it doesn't exist. Like, ADD does not exist. The thing that we're treating kids for and the way that we've come to recognize it, that doesn't exist. So many times when actually, like, dealing with the patient, they've been able to, like, go back and find that, oh, there's actually, like, something else causing this lack of focus. Whether it's, like, they need glasses, or, they're not sleeping enough, or they're drinking way too much caffeine, or, you know, a myriad of other, you know, their nutrition's not well. And it's like they take care of that, and then the ADD is taken care of, but instead of taking care of that, they're just like, oh, you've got mischievousness, you've got hyperactivity, you're a young boy who likes to run around, how strange. Let's prescribe you amphetamines now, and that should help you focus like a good boy.
Yeah, when I was young, if I didn't like risk my life and hurl myself at high speeds around a field for like 6 hours a day, I you know.
Yeah, man, going sledding and riding bikes and jumping, you know, playing in the woods and all this stuff. And that's another thing too, I guess, is if kids are just sitting around playing video. Oh, if kids these days are just playing these old video games, and they're not running off that energy. But no, but seriously, I mean, that's what it is most of the time, is they just need recess. They need exercise.
Speaking of caffeine, I never realized how much of a problem it was until I watched a 14 or 15-year-old girl rip a Red Bull can in half with her bare hands. Sorry, chug the Red Bull, scream, and rip the can in half with her bare hands.
Frightening. All right. Frightening.
Beer tab, pause.
I think they're making Everclear illegal in this state too.
Really?
Which is just ridiculous. They're blaming that for date rapes. Please, if you drink shots of if you're a college kid and you're drinking shots of Everclear, you can get just as drunk off drinking shots of vodka. And that's not the reason. You know, that's not the reason these things are happening. Let's look a little deeper and stop blaming.
Oh yeah, that's what always happens.
But some politician gets on his high horse and he wants to make a statement, and then they make like a villain out of something, and it's like, please, you know, come on. If used responsibly, and you know, it's no different than any other alcohol, and that's alcohol is supposed to be used responsibly. Maybe we should talk about using that responsibly as opposed to vilifying a certain type of alcohol. Mm-hmm. It's not like you can't get just as drunk off 80 proof liquor as you can off 150 proof liquor. It's just going to happen quicker.
Yeah.
But I need Everclear because what else am I going to soak my stems in?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Maybe that's their real reason.
No,
they're just some politicians.
No,
here's what happened.
They're
some politician went to a party and tried Green Dragon and got way too fucked up. Like, some like middle-aged woman, and like somebody comes up to him like, yeah, we've made some Green Dragon in the back for some reason. She's at some party with Green Dragon.
Right,
she's at some like elite, Illuminati party, and they have tons of drugs. I don't know. Anyway, so this is what happened. So this congresswoman takes Green Dragon at a party and has a horrible experience. Like, she pukes all over the host, and
she puke fire.
She pukes, and then the host is smoking a cigarette, and the puke lights on fire as she's puking on him. And it was so awful that she was just like, "Oh, I've got to make that stuff illegal," and that's what happened.
Well, shame on her for not drinking responsibly.
Exactly. So, really blame the politicians.
When you were going to school in Western Maryland and I was going to school north of Baltimore, and is around the time we were reading I was reading the electric Kool-Aid acid test. And
I think I was too.
Just starting to kind of get in, like we had, I think, experimented with mushrooms a little bit before, but we hadn't really broken into LSD much at that time. And so you hit me up one night and said that you had a friend in Baltimore who got a hold of some paper tabs, and that if I could come get you out in Western Maryland, that we could go and do that. And so I, of course, jumped at the opportunity. I don't know what time it was. It might have been like 8 or 9 o'clock at the time. I was sitting in my dorm room, and I happened to have, I think I still had my pickup truck at that point.
Periwinkle blue pickup truck.
Yeah, and it was like a Thursday. I had one class on Friday. I had a theater history class super early in the morning. And I say that, I mean like 10 probably, or 9 or 10, maybe 11, probably like 10, maybe 9.
10, 11, 10, no, 10, 11, probably
It's very important. And I picked you up from your spot, and we went to this place in Baltimore.
It was just this one dude, and it was this guy that I knew. Like, he went to my college for one semester, and he was an RA, which is a residence life assistant, which is insane because this guy was a nutty hippie. He was a cool guy, but he was pretty out there.
RA stands for residence life assistant?
Something like that, or residential assistant.
Resident advisor?
Resident advisor, or whatever. But he was supposed to be like the person, who reported you if they smelled weed. And
or saw you drinking.
This guy calls me like, "Do you want to come out to my house in Baltimore and take acid with me?" He went to school for one semester, so I didn't even know this guy very well. But, acid's hard to find when especially when you're 19 years old.
It would kind of find you 20. When it wanted it to, or when it wanted to. Yeah. So we jumped on the opportunity, and these guys were in like a row home in Baltimore, and there were like a bunch of musicians, and they were like younger guys, so like a bunch of rooms, all, different people living there, and then they had this basement that had a ton of like band and musical equipment.
Yeah, drum set, amps, guitar, bass, and they played in the middle of the trip.
Yeah, and they had this one instrument, which I think they got at like Cracker Barrel, and it was like a plastic clarinet, which I like fell in love with because I saw this guy playing
horn,
and it was like
call that.
It was vibrating as he was playing it. He would like hit the note and it would just be like vibrating with that tone, and it was just this. It was just this like cheap plastic toy with like plastic clackers. But I've been looking for one of those ever since. I still am. I like fell in love with that thing.
We need to get you a plastic horn.
Oh man! But yeah, so like we got there, we took this paper as soon as we got there. Took a little bit to come on, and we're like down in the basement listening to music. These guys come down, they start playing, we start tripping, and it starts to get to be like, I don't know, like 6 a.m, something like that. We start to come down a bit, and you're like, all right, well, we can, make our way back. So we drive back out to Western Maryland, and my eyes...
4 a.m.
Yeah, and my eyes are still like, it was starting to get light out, but people still had their headlights on. And like their headlights were just a little bit brighter than they should be normally. Yeah. But we get back to your place, it's like starting to get light out. I don't know if you had class that day because it was a Friday. I'll catch a little sleep, set an alarm. If I'm able to make it, cool. If not, cool. And that's what I remember like standing out about the whole thing is I didn't get like stressed about it at any point. Mm-hmm. Like I could have gotten worked up, but I was just like, whatever happens, happens. But so, after this crazy adventure, tripping all night, driving back to your place, I'm like able to wake up, like past my alarm a little bit, but like just kind of where it's like I might be able to make it to class, but probably not. So I was just like, all right, well, I'll give it a shot. Start driving, making decent time, no real traffic, just kind of cruising along. And it's like, all right, well, I might actually be able to make this after all. I don't know. But, and mind you, I didn't have a parking pass still, and people were on campus for class on Friday, so I didn't really have anywhere to leave my car. My periwinkle truck. Sorry, let me correct that. And so I drove back.
Periwinkle blue pickup truck.
And it was like cutting it close. I lived on campus, but I wasn't going to have time to go back to my dorm. Wasn't going to have time to like change, brush my teeth, get books, anything like that. So I'm able to like cruise, go right into the parking garage, find a spot, park my car there, hope I don't get a ticket. Go right into my theater history class where I need it to graduate. It's part of my major, and you only have a certain amount of absences before you just, that's it. You don't get the credit for the class. And so you kind of have to be there for it. And I managed to roll in there in the same clothes I was wearing the day before, having slept like 40 minutes and tripped acid all night in like this smoky, dirty jacket with no pen, no paper, nothing. Just walking into class looking like a total fucking
but rat's at least nest. You were there.
But at least I was fucking there. And I sat down and I looked at the person next to me, able to borrow a sheet of paper from them and a pen.
Hey, man.
Can I borrow any paper? I fucking took notes.
You look like you've been in a weird dude's basement tripping on acid all night. Oh, no.
I went back to my dorm. Slept for a bit.
Slept for 2.5 days.
Found my car still unticketed, which was great. Didn't even get a ticket. Made it, dude. Fucking made it. I remember one of our worst pickup lines ever.
What's that?
Collective pickup lines that we shared together.
What's that? I don't remember this.
This was when we were emceeing the showcase assembly in high school, where every group and club would make a skit or a video, and they would show it to all the other students who would come down during some free period or not free period, they would get out of class and come down to an assembly and get to, get a taste.
Promoting all the inter-school groups.
Yeah, all the clubs and groups and every class, the freshmen, juniors, sophomores. I don't know why I did it out of order. Seniors.
Sophomores are lowest on the totem pole.
They would all, make skits as well. And so did we MC it just the one year, just our senior year. But we also made a video for the senior class, and we're helping out with like the video club's video and doing a bunch of other stuff as well.
We were being men on campus.
Well, we certainly felt that way. However, we certainly got a nice ego check. I remember when the video club came out, they were like, "Oh yeah, what's up?" And they made some comment about getting dates to homecoming, and all these girls were like, like going crazy, like cheering for him and everything. We're like, oh yeah, dude, we definitely need to do that. We don't have dates to homecoming either. We should definitely make mention of that. And so we come out and we're like, oh yeah, me and Andy, we don't have dates to homecoming either, expecting all the ladies to go crazy.
Dead silence.
And it was pretty damn quiet. Oh, man. It was pretty damn quiet. And it was just like,
our delivery was probably off.
It was pretty off, man.
Blame it on that.
And we had to move on from that and keep the show going.
We did well, though.
Oh, no, we absolutely did.
I don't remember that.
We absolutely did.
Being that embarrassing.
No, we recovered, but certainly not our most effective maneuver. I don't know, man. There's big houses.
Big houses. A lot of money. Good improv.
We didn't get it, but
Pokemon.
It was fun.
Can you think of any remarkably funny jokes from those days? I mean, you had a tumbleweed thing going on.
Yeah.
That was a recurring theme where you played a tumbleweed. You know what you missed out? You should have done a character at one point. Should have been an entire story about that tumbleweed. Your final show.
That's true. Well, see, but that was like, I did that at a theater festival. We had done it like in rehearsals as like kind of a joke almost. Mm-hmm. Like where it would always come to this scenario where two people were standing on the opposite ends of the stage, and then they would go for their imaginary 6-shooters, and it would become like a Western shoot-off. Mm-hmm. And so we had done it before, where this kind of tumbleweed would then blow across the stage.
Right.
You're giving a character to the scenery as well. And
I'm not saying it wasn't a good joke.
No, it was that's a great why joke. I didn't feel genuine with it. I could never like fully enjoy it because we had done it in rehearsal, and so it was like looking around almost like, all right, who's going to do this? Yeah. One of us is going to do this. I guess I'll do this.
That's what comedians, like stand-ups, feel like when people are like, do the, you know,
it's like, let me do
the crying joke at Dane Cook or whatever, you know?
Fuck him. But so I just did it, and it never felt like, it wasn't like a true moment of like improv, where like, I mean, for the audience it was totally spontaneous, but like, for us, the spontaneous moment had come in practice. And I guess that's what you do it for. But so I did it, and everyone went fucking nuts, and everyone was like, the tumbleweed. And then inevitably the scenario happened another time, probably at another improv festival, I'm sure. And so then everyone on the team looked at me, and then so I lazily flopped across the stage as the worst tumbleweed in the West.
It's like that episode of The Simpsons where everyone's like trying to get Bart to say, "Don't have a cow, man." And he's like, "Can't we have like a real discussion about something that like say it?
Yeah,
don't have a cow, man." Yeah.
I remember my favorite moment where
you gotta give into it though if you want to appease the masses.
Well, sure, but hey, whatever. I mean, I like to continue to progress, not become a one-trick pony.
Fair enough. You've left your tumbleweed days behind successfully.
One of my proudest moments, though, was when we had that big wrestler on the team for a period of time who was just like a big ball of energy. It wasn't necessarily the most trained, but was massive, just brought a lot of crazy to the stage.
A lot of crazy, a lot of energy.
I had kind of sat off to the side throughout like this entire scene that had played out where a whole lot of mayhem happened and people got flipped up. He lifted someone upside down and their money and wallet fell out on stage.
So what did he do to you?
Well, so I was just standing off on the side the whole time, kind of just watching this whole thing play out. And it got to that place where there was a lull in the scene, and there's kind of like looking for someone to make a move or someone to make a cross or something. And so I came on.
A moment of dead air.
It was just a little bit of dead air.
Okay.
Where the next moment was just waiting to happen. And so I just came on and did one simple thing where he was laying out, this big, meaty body was like laying out on stage.
Do you remember what you did? What was your one simple thing?
I crouched down, like, right behind him as best I could.
You roll across the stage as a tumbleweed?
No, I did not. No, I did not do that. Remember when I did that thing, guys?
Yeah.
No, I came up like some sort of, like, what was that alien where the thing pops out of the stomach, some sort of exorcist spirit?
You popped out of his chest.
Basically.
You were a chest popper.
Yeah. Okay. And so that kind of justified the whole bout of craziness and everything that had gone on in the scene before.
Did he physically assault you at that point?
No, he was like dead and immediately
I thought this was going to end with you like getting thrown.
No, that happened in rehearsal for another show.
I remember that.
Yeah, no, I got tossed.
Well, now here's what was really funny.
Though. No, but that was the beauty of the guy who was running, the moderator, cut it immediately after that because he was looking for an ending too, and he couldn't end it on the dead air. He wanted to end it on a laugh. As soon as someone jumped up, created that thing, boom, cut it. Ending. Crowd went fucking nuts. That was the thing that was able to change a scene that had gone on and had built up steam, but could have ended on a flat note and it would have killed the whole scene. But if you ended at the right time, someone makes that one last cross, boom.
Yeah. The final joke is a lot of fun to pull, and it's sometimes really easy to pull.
Well, and just knowing when to end it as the moderator, too. Like, if he had let it go on past that, I had nothing. What was I mean, I guess I could have gone around as this little red-headed spirit, but, I mean, you know.
No, that was the perfect time to end it, yeah.
It's all. I mean, the whole team. You know, the reaction around.
You took a risk though, entering without any further plans.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's improv. Sometimes
at that point, at the 3-minute mark, or the 2.5-minute mark,
you got to fall on it, man.
If somebody falls on it, you got to end it. Can you imagine? God,
it's like those line games where there's that dead air. If you got to go out and lay a clunker, you got to go out and just lay a big fat groaner and just
moderator is hard to find, man.
It is. Well, that's the thing. A moderator has to know. It's like the quarterback almost. They have to know the structure of the games. They have to know the flow of it, the rhythm of it, know when to end it.
Yeah. So
they can't just be like, if they can't play the games, they can't moderate the games.
My favorite story about the big wrestler guy, though, is like, he was always so excited about being on stage. Like, he really there was a part of him
he wanted
that really
to be in WWE. He would do wrestling tournaments, and he would come back and be like, oh, God, yeah, no, I got first place, but it was a stupid medal. I wanted a belt.
Right.
I wanted a fucking belt.
Yeah.
Get a medal.
No, he was really funny, just in his, natural... Like, he was in Midsummer Night's Dream with us. He played
oh my Frisbee. God, do you remember what happened in Midsummer Night's Dream?
Yeah. We were responsible for some child pornography.
What? His
balls fell out.
His shaft
shaft fell out, yeah. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was 17 at the time. We were all in high school.
I don't know.
Anyway, my favorite thing that he ever did on stage, besides his shaft falling out during Shakespeare, was...
I was watching that on stage, trying so hard not to visibly laugh because my back was to the audience, but I was turning bright pink. Only the left half of the stage could see it. He had worn athletic shorts before that, and I was like, no, dude... I can see the Nike logo on your shorts. That's going to throw people off.
Big mistake.
Just go for the boxers. Go for the underwear.
And look what you got.
You win for the underwear.
Look what happened to you.
And you picked the wrong pair, man. Picked some unfaithfuls.
You got what you deserved.
I didn't. I mean,
you suggested he not wear the Nikes.
So did I get what I deserved?
Yeah, because you had to see his shaft.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he had no idea. He came off stage. We were laughing so hard, and he had no idea.
So the other thing that was great that I'm sure you remember him doing is in the final improv show of the year. Somehow he ended up on the improv team for just the final show, I think. And he was comedy amped him up so much. He probably was drinking and doing energy drinks. He used to chug Robitussin, remember? Dayquil. No, he used to chug Dayquil.
Did he?
Yeah. That's what he did for Midsummer.
He idolized The Rock, dude. Everything was a sport.
Yeah, energy. So much energy.
Sports. Entertainment. Event.
So at this improv show, he got so amped up. He was so excited about comedy, and people were laughing at him, and he was so excited, and it was awesome. And at the very end of the show, when we were all taking our bows, his excitement reached its peak, and he screamed, "Rah!" And he grabbed one of our smallest, tiniest, shortest Italian members of the team by his shirt, ripping the shirt off his body. He grabbed this guy's 100% cotton t-shirt with one hand, lifted him up, and the shirt just broke. It was absolutely insane. This guy was full of so much energy, he could have he
didn't want the moment to end. He needed
it was
a memento.
Hulk moment. It was like a moment of I can't control
the
my
shirt was probably sweaty. We had probably dyed it to get the name on there, so the fibers had been stressed a little bit at that point. But dude, he would have loved that.
He still ripped the shirt off of this guy's body.
I'm not trying to downplay that
unintentionally. With that's the funny thing is he was
it was probably partially
underestimating his strength. He just wanted to pick up something.
We would go to this little ice cream joint after shows sometimes, and I was significantly smaller than this guy, and he was a trained wrestler, and I was like, yeah, let's do a couple wrestling moves. This guy wasted no time lifting me up off the ground, driving me driving my back into the ground and driving his big, meaty shoulder right into my chest. Just full weight, piled up. He probably loved it. I probably felt like a pillow to him. He just lifted me up like a little teddy bear.
He's like a dog. He's like a massive dog.
In that moment, because he was like, this is the
oh, John Kevin, let's play.
Just flip this little dude around, just crush him right. And I was just like, whoa. Just deflated right there. And that wasn't the only time he chucked me.
He's the reincarnation of like a big black lab. This is like his first life as a human.
Thank you for joining us for People Are Strange.
If you enjoyed the show, please like us on Facebook.
Subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes.
Email us, andyanjk@gmail.com.
And most importantly, tell your friends.
I'm Andy.
And I'm JK.
Be sure to check back with us next week for another exciting new episode of
People Are Strange.